The last letter. France, World War II. Tom was only 18 when he was sent to fight in the war. He was a young soldier from England, skinny but determined. Even though he didn't know much about fighting, he knew he had to be brave for his family and for his country. But deep down, he was terrified. One cold evening, Tom received a special assignment. His captain handed him a letter, sealed tightly, with the words "Top Secret" stamped across the front. "Tom, this message must reach Commander Lewis by dawn," the captain said, his face serious. "We've received news of a surprise attack. If we don't warn the commander, many lives will be lost." Tom swallowed hard. The path to Commander Lewis was filled with enemy soldiers, traps, and obstacles, but he knew he couldn't let his fear stop him. He put the letter inside his coat pocket, nodded, and began his journey. The forest of shadows. Tom's path led him through a thick forest. The trees seemed to stretch endlessly, and the only light came from the moon above, casting eerie shadows everywhere. Tom moved as quietly as he could, trying to avoid stepping on twigs or rustling leaves. Suddenly, he heard a faint whisper. He froze, his heart pounding. In the shadows ahead, he saw two enemy soldiers talking quietly by a tree. Tom held his breath, stepping back slowly, praying they wouldn't hear him. After what felt like forever, the soldiers walked away, laughing as they disappeared into the darkness. Tom let out a sigh of relief, but he knew this was just the beginning. A friend in need. As Tom continued, he stumbled upon a small, broken-down farmhouse. He knew he couldn't stay long, but he was cold and tired. He decided to hide there for a few minutes to catch his breath. Inside, Tom found something he didn't expect. A young boy, maybe about 10 years old, hiding under a blanket. The boy's eyes widened in fear when he saw Tom. "Don't be scared," Tom whispered, kneeling down. "I'm here to help." The boy's name was Pierre, and he spoke only a little English. Through broken sentences, Tom learned that Pierre's family had been forced to leave, and he had gotten lost. Tom knew he had to keep moving, but he couldn't leave the boy alone. He decided to take Pierre with him, hoping they could find a safe place for him along the way. Close call at the river. Tom and Pierre reached a small river they needed to cross. There was an old wooden bridge, but it looked fragile. Just as Tom tested it, he heard voices in the distance. More enemy soldiers. Thinking quickly, he grabbed Pierre's hand and whispered, "We have to cross quietly. Don't make a sound." The two of them tiptoed across the bridge, but halfway through, one of the old wooden boards creaked loudly. The soldiers stopped talking, and Tom felt his heart leap into his throat. He quickly covered Pierre's mouth, praying the soldiers wouldn't investigate. After a long, tense moment, the soldiers continued on their way. Tom and Pierre hurried across the bridge, breathing a sigh of relief as they reached the other side. Finding shelter. By now, Tom was exhausted, but dawn was approaching. He still had a long way to go, and he knew he couldn't afford to stop. He was determined to get the letter to Commander Lewis, no matter what. Just then, he saw a barn up ahead, and his heart leaped with hope. Perhaps someone there could help him. They knocked gently on the door, and an elderly woman opened it. She looked at Tom and Pierre with kind but wary eyes. The woman quickly led them inside, giving them some bread and water. "You must be brave to travel this far," she said softly, noticing Tom's uniform. "I'll help you." Tom quickly explained that he needed to deliver an important message. The woman nodded and pointed toward a hidden path behind her barn. "This trail will take you around the enemy camp. Follow it, and you'll be safe." The final stretch. Tom and Pierre continued on the hidden path, grateful for the old woman's help. The sky was starting to lighten as dawn approached, and Tom knew he was running out of time. He urged Pierre to keep going, even though they were both tired. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they saw the camp where Commander Lewis was stationed. But just as Tom felt relief wash over him, he heard a loud crack, a shot fired from nearby. Enemy soldiers had spotted them. "Run, Pierre!" Tom shouted, pushing the boy ahead. Tom sprinted toward the camp as bullets whizzed past him, the letter still safely tucked inside his coat. With one final burst of energy, he reached the edge of the camp and yelled, "Message for Commander Lewis." Soldiers rushed to his side, pulling him into safety just as more shots rang out. Tom handed the letter to a guard, gasping for breath. "It's urgent. A surprise attack," he managed to say. The soldiers quickly took action, and because of Tom's bravery, they were able to prepare for the attack. Many lives were saved that day. A hero's welcome. After the battle, Commander Lewis called Tom into his office. Pierre was there too, sitting safely with a warm blanket around him. "Young man," the commander said, "you saved us all with that message. You showed courage and heart. You're a hero." Tom smiled, glancing over at Pierre. He felt proud, but more than that, he felt grateful to have made it back alive. He knew that this was a journey he would never forget, and as he walked back to his tent, he knew that even in the darkest moments, hope and bravery could make all the difference. The end. This story shows Tom's courage and resourcefulness in a high-stakes, suspenseful situation. It's a tale of bravery, friendship, and the will to survive, even when the odds seem impossible.